This is it. This is the place, an excited Brianna said to her unimpressed boyfriend, Carter. Now this proves that our love is forever. You're so strange, he said to Brianna. What does locking a padlock on a fence have to do with how much we love each other? Please stop complaining, she replied. All right, he said. I still think it's pretty lame, but if you want to. Yes, yes, I do, she said eagerly. He reached into his pocket and got the pretty padlock out with their names inscribed. As he began to look for a spot, he noticed an old, rusted, loose lock. Why the heck is this disgusting thing here? He kicked it off. No, Brianna said, a bit sad. That was someone's heart you just disregarded like trash. Relax, he said. Besides, it wasn't fully locked anyway, so they probably didn't love each other. Not like we do. Brianna smiled as they kissed. Then they hooked their padlock on the fence, tossed their key in the water, and left. Later on that night, Carter was sleeping on his bed. He began to toss and turn. He was having a nightmare. The loud sounds of locks rattling woke him up. He rubbed his face and then slowly got out of bed. It was just a dream, he thought. Carter went to rinse his face with cool water at his bathroom sink. While rinsing, he heard loud lock sounds. Startled, he turned around with a wet face, looking around to see where those noises were coming from. He walked around his house with a bat as he shouted, "You better get out of my house, man, before I knock you out, whoever you are." Soon, he heard a horrifying growl. He was so scared that he dropped the bat, grabbed his keys, and ran to his car to drive away. But no matter where he drove, he still heard the ear-piercing sounds of locks. Locks, he thought to himself. That's it. That's the only thing that makes sense. He immediately drove to Brianna's apartment. As he approached, he could hear her screaming inside. He frantically found her spare key and then opened the door. Brianna was in the corner of her living room, balled up in fear while different items were floating across the room. Some even tossed and shattered. Carter ran and grabbed her arm. "Come with me," he said to a petrified Brianna. "What's going on?" she cried. "Trust me," Carter said. They got in the car and drove back to the fence. "Quick, look for that padlock," Carter shouted. "Which one?" she asked. "The old one I tossed," he responded. "The sounds are getting louder and closer," Brianna screamed. "Don't worry about that," he said. "Keep searching." Carter finally found it in the water. A big, black, misty shadow slowly hovered over them as he ran towards the fence. Dropping the lock a couple of times as Brianna shouted, "Hurry up and lock it!" He finally locked the old rusty padlock back on the fence. The shadow and mist immediately cleared up. The two ran back to the car and drove off. They were never bothered again. As for the old rusted lock, it unlocked.